let's go right ahead and get into Anthony Edwards and his quote and what he says about Team USA and how he feels his overall role is on Team USA. So let me just go ahead and pull up Anthony Edwards. There we go. I don't know why the picture wasn't showing there and it was just showing the starting screen. I apologize for that. But essentially, Anthony Edwards and his comments, they were pretty extreme, honestly. So this was the quote. He said, I mean, y'all might look at it differently. I don't look at it differently at all. I just go out there and be myself, shoot my shots, play defense, and they gotta fit in and play around me. I'm still the number one option. That's what he said. Now, that wasn't in that order. He said, I'm still the number one option. Like, he said that first. And my first thought was that, yes, he is incredibly confident, but there is a fine line between confidence and arrogance, in my opinion. And right now, this is an example of where he is being rather arrogant because he has no experience playing Team USA basketball. He barely has experience being the number one option on the team. Like, he just started being the number one option on his team. And now he's obviously, like, a lot of fans and a lot of his supporters, they all would go and they all like to compliment on how confident he is. And there's nothing wrong with being confident. Like, I am not trying to knock him down from his confidence whatsoever. I think it is a very admirable trait, admirable trait that he has. And those kinds of traits are exactly what make Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant one of the most liked players in the NBA, like, to the fans, because they like seeing that kind of player express that confidence. For example, when Michael Jordan was asked, game on the line, who's taking the last shot? He goes, me. That's a dumb question. Me. And we know Kobe, he would without a doubt say that exact same thing. And obviously that's them being confident. But the difference between that is, like, the difference between Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant saying that is that they have already proven themselves, like, when they've said that. Michael Jordan has already proven himself as one of the top players that the NBA had at the time. And I just don't see that with Anthony Davis whatsoever. I mean, sure, he had a really good run in the playoffs, but that ultimately ended with him shooting so inefficiently in the postseason. Like, it was honestly rather sad because, he came in with the first round, all of this confidence, and he's always had this confidence. But when it really mattered the most, Anthony Edwards just didn't show up in those high leverage games and those incredibly important games. Now, I'm just pulling up his game log right now just so I can tell you guys exactly what I'm talking about, because in an elimination game against the Denver Nuggets, the team that he ultimately ended up beating to get into the next round, he only had 16 points and was 6 for 24 from the field. Like, he did not meet the moment in that series whatsoever. Now, he did in the first round. Obviously, he played phenomenally in the first round, and that in turn gave him a lot of hype, as well as playing well in the first game, in Game 1 and Game 2 of the playoffs, and even in Game 4. But it's that key elimination game, and on top of that, what followed directly after, losing to the Dallas Mavericks, and really, it was all him, and, like, that was the big reason, in my opinion, why they just couldn't win more than just one game in that series. Like, for example, in Game 1, he shot 6 for 16, and in Game 2, he shot 5 for 17. Now, keep in mind, these are all home games, and you cannot let another team steal home court advantage from you in the postseason. He just didn't meet that moment. And on top of that, like, he's lost in that series, he lost every single home game. Like, you cannot let that happen. Obviously, he had a much better elimination game than he did in the previous series, but to have the confidence to say that he feels like he is the number one option on a squad that has LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, and really those main five are like the main five in my opinion. Like, those guys have already proven themselves. And even Jason Tatum, now that I think about it, right? Like, those guys have already proven themselves to be stars. Like, they already have a championship to their name. They already have several accolades under their belt, as well as Olympic accolades under their belt. Like, they have experience playing in the Olympics, and you cannot convince me that someone who has not played on the Olympics and is competing in the Olympics is going to be the number one option compared to a player who has already won 2 gold medals and has already, like, made a name for themselves on Team USA as the leading scorer for the entire, organization, I guess you could call it. Like, because, Kevin Durant is one of the leading scorers, if not the leading scorer in Team USA basketball. I remember Carmelo Anthony, he held that for some time because of his longevity playing for Team USA. However, Kevin Durant, I feel like, I definitely think that for Team USA, he's scoring more points, or he scored more points than Carmelo Anthony. I can go ahead and check that again. But regardless, even if he hasn't, he's already won several gold medals for Team USA, along with LeBron James. They already have that experience. They already have that under their belts. So I think this is just rather arrogant for him to say. Like, this is one of those, I don't know if you guys play NBA 2K, but this is one of those scenarios where the response is like you gain 40,000 fans, but you lose like 15% team chemistry, right? Like, you shouldn't have that big of a mouth as somebody who doesn't have that experience. And it could cause some sort of, friction within the locker room, but I genuinely don't think that it will, because LeBron, Steph, Kawhi, Kevin Durant, and Anthony Davis, I just don't see them as those kinds of players that would tell him to just, relax. Like, you're not all that. I don't think that they are going to say that about him. And I just think, quite frankly, it's rather disrespectful, because it just completely undermines exactly like just how good of a player, of a group of players those guys really are. And you can't really say that without actually playing with the squad first. I mean, the quote after that, because obviously that wasn't the only thing that he said, right? He said, they've got to fit around me. That's how I feel. But they also, like, that was a tweet, but they ended up cutting out, y'all might look at it differently. I don't look at it differently. I just go out there and be myself, shoot my shots, play defense. And really, that's sort of like where the problem, like, that's not really a big problem, obviously, shooting your shots, but it is a bigger problem if you're just hogging the ball and taking all of those shots. Granted, I don't think that's what he's going to be doing, but at the same time, I don't think he should have said this whatsoever. I mean, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I mean, do you like his confidence? Do you think it's rather arrogant? Because me personally, I think this quote is, just him being a little bit arrogant, because let's face it, he's not the number one option. Like, as much as you Anthony Edwards fans want to believe that he's Michael Jordan's son, he is not the number one option on the team. And I feel like he should somewhat, like, respect the rest of the players on, like, the roster. And obviously, confidence is key, and it's one of the big reasons why he is a favorite in the NBA, like a fan favorite. A lot of people, like, flock to him the same way that a lot of people, like, flock to Jimmy Butler in the postseason with his confidence. And even then, I still think Jimmy Butler's comments are rather arrogant, but maybe that's just me, because, like, it's different when someone like Kobe says it, because Kobe has multiple championships under his belt, and he's hit multiple clutch shots, and on top of that, he hasn't lost a game for Team USA. So it is completely different if he were to say that. And it's the same story with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, again, he already made a name for himself. I'm just listing off, the players off the top of my head that would say something as, confidently and as arrogantly as he would say it. And those two are obviously, those are the only two that come to my mind at first, because they're mainly, their focus is scoring and being able to get a bucket. But they do it so well. They do it better than almost anybody that's played basketball. Like, they know that they're that guy. They just know it, and they have the accolades to prove it. Like, there's nothing you can really say about that. I mean, there's no way you can tell me that you are going to deny Michael Jordan the ball in the final minutes. And there's no way that you can tell me you're going to deny LeBron James the ball, or even Michael Jordan the ball in those final minutes, or Kobe Bryant, like any of those players. I think I said Michael Jordan again. I apologize for that. It is rather late. So with that, we are out of time for this first segment. So now I will go ahead and go into the second segment, where I talk about Franz Wagner and his ridiculous contract that he signed with the Orlando Magic. So I will be right back after this short break. Be sure to stay tuned.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?